This is from Brett in St. Cloud, Minnesota. He writes, Dave, I listened to your first segment, to your list of reasons why claims take so long. Here's my problem. Every time I call the VA about the status of my claim, I get a different answer. It's confusing and it's making me crazy. Well, Brett, I can understand that. The idea is if the VA is talking to you, that means if you get a letter between every 2 and 3 months during the processing of your claim, you're in good shape. The VA does not work on our timetable. It works on the VA's timetable. We're all anxious and we all want to know. However, as long as they're talking to you, you don't have to call, you don't have to do anything. If you find you need to call because you haven't heard in several 3 or 4 months from the VA, call first, get the person's name you talked to. And then say, I haven't heard from the VA and I filed a claim 6 months ago and I haven't heard anything in 4 months. Can you help me, Mr. Jones? That's a maximum effectiveness that you can do to try to get the status on your claim.
Now that brings out a good point though. Is there somebody that you can enlist to help you? I mean, if you're trying to call in on the phone lines, can you use like a VA service officer or somebody to be like a coach or a intermediary, somebody to kind of help the process along? I mean, can Brett get in touch with somebody like that?
Well, again, if it's been 6 weeks since you filed your claim, it's no need to even look to find out the status of your claim. It's simply too soon. Wait 3 months, and in that 3-month period of time, you would have received a letter from the VA saying, we got your request for benefits. So whether you call a service officer or the Department of Veterans Affairs, if it's too soon, you're really not going to get much help. But if you have the patience and take your pack off, take a smoke break on the side of the road until they say fall in. And in 2 or 3 months, you will have heard from the VA. And if it runs longer, you will have another letter from the VA. That means you're in good shape. The cake is in the oven. If you keep opening the oven door, when the cake comes out, the inside's going to be jelly. Take a break.
That's a great analogy. I love it.
A veteran from Des Moines, Iowa writes, the Veterans Administration sent me a letter and I'm not clear on what information they're asking on the letter they sent me. Very good question, because the VA does that. And what the letter basically states is, if you have any information not previously submitted or medical records, please send them to us. And if you're aware of what you send when you initially file the claim and all the information you have has been submitted to the Veterans Administration, there is nothing you need to do. If they want anything specifically, they will state it specifically. Other than that, there's nothing you need to do. There are additional forms in the back of the letter you get, doctor's clearance forms, and a form with a lot of lines with which to make a statement. If you have no prior doctor's visits in the private sector, none of those forms mean anything because it's for a private doctor and it's a release of information. The other issue that the Des Moines veteran writes is they keep asking him for stuff that he's already submitted. If the VA does that, rather than tell them when you sent that information previously, send it to them again. It's as simple as that. Don't argue with them, send it to them again and indicate when you previously sent it if you choose to. The idea, keep the ball in the VA's court.
Thanks a lot, Dave. That's some great advice. That'll help for a lot of folks. Once again, folks, Dave Culmer, 20 years veteran with the Marine Corps, 22 years with the VA, and he's currently a VA service officer with the American Legion. And most importantly for us here, Dave is the book on all our VA benefit information here at the Veterans Network.